Okay, so this is my last video here. I've almost finished this. I'm going to talk about the remaining sections. Now we're looking at research gaps, and I do mention above, I give you the actual template, a link to the template, which you should use for any subsequent submissions. So copy and paste this and make sure that it follows the guidelines of the template. Might as well work off the template directly because when you're finished, and you don't have to do all this back and forth copying and pasting. So now with your research graph, I would mention this because you didn't put a title. And so up until this page, which is page, where are we at? Well, you don't actually have page numbers. Let's put those in. Well, actually, I don't need to put those in. You will put those will be in the template. I didn't. I forgot that it was about mathematics courses, and maybe we just call it mathematics courses. You've got mathematics and math related courses. We can just assume that it's mathematics courses, and then you can identify those courses in the method. Or you might say mathematics related courses, but not mathematics and math related courses. That um, uh, a mathematics course is a mathematics related course. I see what you're trying to say, but let's make it smoother. You can decide how you want to make that a briefer and more concise description. Um, so you've got well, several investigated non-traditional resources. There are at least 4 gaps. Now, I'm going to suggest, and maybe this isn't um, a gap, but it just depends. Are there how many studies are there relative to the mathematics relative to all the other alternative grading areas? So if mathematics is a small port, then you can say there are at least 5 gaps uh, in the existing literature on alternative grading. The first is that a limited range of studies have been conducted uh, in non-traditional grading in mathematics, and then you can go second, third. Um, uh, you could keep it this way, but it kind of then exposes the following gaps a bit because for each of those gaps you have to put references in there. So you're going to say most studies are done with a single course. Well, those are all the studies, and you have to put in references. Now, if there's a whole bunch of references, just put like an EG and put like 3 or 4 different references. Same thing for the other references. Okay, because maybe there's a ton of references. I don't know. So I'm leaning towards thinking that mathematics is probably a course that doesn't have alternative grading that often. So that in itself is a gap. All right. So my basic point is these are well stated. It's just you have to put references, samples there. Just because you say most studies are conducted with over a single course, you need to kind of give some references of those studies. And very few studies do a systematic approach, and then you just put examples of those. Okay. Uh, College students enrolled in again math related courses. If you want to say math related courses, then you can say that, or mathematics courses, but you have to decide and keep it consistent. So I've altered your questions a little bit just to say college mathematics courses, individuals in the impact of grading in college math. So you're keeping in their mathematics. And then how to perceive the impact of grading in their mathematics education. I'm just keeping them more general. Here, please put the individual differences that you are looking at. And then you have the significance of the study. What happened here? Yeah, I accidentally lost that. So then you have the significance of the study, and you need to expand this a little bit more. You've got two sentences, so practical significance. Um, so you can say the first significant, or at least, you know, the first practical, so could provide guidelines for teachers in the educational practice of alternative grading in college mathematics. And then you can say specifically um, information about, and then talk about what those guidelines would be based on your research questions. So you can talk about specifically, we'll talk about the benefits of grading and the perceived challenges. Now that's interesting. Here, I'm just going back again here. Um, isn't question four really subsumed in these two? I think it is actually. Um, so provide guidelines and potential pitfalls in the educational practice, in the long-term uh, educational practice of using alternative grading in college level mathematics courses. Um, Articulating the benefits and the challenges can provide specific suggestions for teachers wishing to um, use this practice. They could also increase awareness of the impact of individual differences and help administrators consider more explicit ways that they can support alternative strategies. So something like that. So try to put your goals to so you're going to help teachers, right, and improve their practice. Tell us specifically how that would be. By identifying benefits, we can focus on key areas that would maximize student learning and experience. And then by focusing on challenges, we can identify uh, uh, areas of practice that need to be avoided to, or to identify key areas that I mean, you could combine benefits and challenges. That's why I'm struggling here. But flesh it out a little bit. Convince us a little bit. Um, by identifying the benefits and challenges, administrators might consider using, furthermore, using alternative strategies. Furthermore, um, noting the potential inequities uh, may help administrators consider these approaches or something of that nature. So I guess I'm asking you to just add a few more sentences to flesh it out a little bit. You need to reframe the theoretical significance because the theoretical significance is identifying the uh, and first of all, you're not hoping anything, right? Is get the word hope out of your thesis. You are a researcher and you're trying to understand. So you're going to, because of your methodology and your gaps, and your look at each of your gaps up here. And so if I were doing what am I going to? So first of all, we're going to look at the impact, long-term impact of you're going to provide information about the long-term impact of alternative grading. Second, you're going to provide a systematic approach and to identify student perceptions and a comprehensive and systematic approach to identify, because that's a contribution. Third, you're going to look at individual differences and the potential impact of alternative grading on different groups, and you can specify those groups. And then fourth, you're going to um, uh, expand on providing a mixed method approach and the benefits of using that approach to investigate alternative grading. So that's your theoretical thing. And so you want to be clear about that because your theoretical is based on your gaps, right? Your positionality statements, good, and I followed it. The only thing I would say is add a reference here, and then you've got to come up with better ways to address your biases because you've got a lot of them. And I've said maybe expand about checking observations with my supervisor using a AI, Gen AI tool, and you can specify the tool to ensure that interpretations are at least as another check, really, or a check on your. I would also run this through ChatGPT to say, here are my biases. How could I address them? Because this is the key thing. You can't say I have all these biases and yeah, I hope to remain aware of my own assumptions. A hope isn't part of it. I'm going to make a write a systematic journal so I can see some of my awarenesses and biases and such. The scope and limitation section is fine. The students' classes are Mr. Domestic, however, the class range from 10 to 36, yeah, generalization. Okay, so that's fine. That is going to now go in the methods section. So that's an update. I think you might have had an old version of my introduction. So that's my video feedback.